said at Stanford, Reggie, that you didn't really understand the formula or what picks you were going to wind up getting, but was this kind of what you expected, or did you really not have any idea?
Let me tell you something. Whatever the formula is, I love this formula. I love it. I thought I would possibly get a 3, a high one for Nnamdi. And the others, obviously, this was better than what I expected. So I'm extremely excited about the compensatory picks that the league has afforded the Raiders. Hopefully, we can make do and have some good picks from this.
Is a number 3 pick, in your eyes, always a potential starter?
Yes. The number 3 pick, number 4 pick. Honestly, guys, when you set the board, you try to set it to where you can have some possible starters through the 5th round. And then if you get lucky with a college free agent 7th round, I've been fortunate and to have some good fortune, with latter picks in my 18-year career. And I'm not going to just limit it just to the 3rd round. That, okay, you got a 3rd, so you got one opportunity to get a starter. I don't want to go into this draft like that. I want to get some good players that we can try to get as many possible starters as possible, whether they're first-year starters, 2nd, 3rd year. I want to get some guys who got the potential to be starters. So don't tie me down just to the 3rd round.
So coming into the offseason and you knowing that you were going to get some comp picks, did that in any way change your approach to free agency and whatnot?
No, it really didn't. It really did not. I'm trying to build a team, so the more the merrier. If I see a possible free agent that we feel like, man, we can do this, and this deal is pretty good, I'm going to do it in free agency, regardless of what we have in the draft. But that's not going to minimize what I do in the draft. Even if I sign an unrestricted free agent offensive lineman, that's not going to say I'm not going to draft one. You know what I'm saying? I don't look at it like that. I'm still looking for great backups who can become starters at every position. So I need a lot more picks than what I have now and some more free agent moves. The only thing I wish I had more of was, NFL money and NFL cap. So that's what I wish I had more of.
So, Reggie, what do you do from here going forward then in regards to clearing some more space going forward to add pieces to your puzzle?
Well, not a whole lot this year. I think the bulk of it has been done. Now it's just you try to wait it out and see who, the best fit for these 53 guys in the long run to make this team, and then try to figure out, at this point it's going to be production and talent. It's not about money. As far as the comings and goings of players, well, the goings mainly.
Reggie, do you think this is the amount of picks you'll go into this draft with, or do you think are you still possibly looking to trade an existing player to get even more picks?
Yeah, that could be possible. Yeah, I never close the door on the draft. on trades. You know, I really don't. If that door is always open, and that's so to answer your question, yes, that could be a possibility.
Reggie, overall, how deep do you think this draft is, and is it the sort of draft where the end of the third round could still land you a talented player?
Yeah, I think it's very good players in the middle rounds. So from a standpoint of depth, I think it's there. I don't know as far as certain positions in the first two rounds, it may not be as deep. There's certain spots, but for the most part, it's some good players throughout the draft.
Throughout your years at Green Bay, how many of the years did you spend doing college personnel and, you know, like you're doing now and evaluating for the draft, and how many years were you in pro personnel, free agency, that sort of thing? Or did the two sometimes, did you do both sometimes?
I did both a lot of times. My first year there, you know, I began in pro personnel, so that was the brunt of my work. But when the scouting meeting started, I was heavily involved. So in the bringing guys in for visits and from watching film and the meetings with the coaches and even putting the board together. So I was a part of that process early. I probably didn't get started into doing college scouting as far as going on the road and being a part of the pre-draft, the pre-combine scouting meetings until maybe after about 7 years. The last 10, 12 years I was a part of that. So that's about the last 12 years exactly. So that's a little different. But you know, in saying that, it's I've always been involved in both. You know, always oversaw all the pro from a free agent standpoint, and just the evaluation of my own team, which I think is highly important. So it's been a process now. I've done this for quite some time, but this is my show now, so it's gonna be fun.
Reggie, you stepped into a new role this year, and everybody likes to make a good first impression. Has it been frustrating for you that you've spent most of your time lately dealing with Raiders cap limitations as opposed to being able to go out and land free agents that you wanted to get?
No, you know, it's not frustrating. It really isn't. But you always like to have a comfort level, and to me, having cash, it gives you a comfort. So it's teaching me how to manage money, so to speak. So, which is this is good. This is good for me. You know, learning on the fly on how to deal with certain adverse situations, and I think we were initially. Now we're able to handle it so far. You know, hopefully, what I don't want to do is allow this to get us in the end. But I want to, you know, I always want to be in a position to, if we need to add a quality player for a certain, you know, that we feel like it works out, you know, financially, cap wise, then sure, I want to be in a position to make a move, and that's my whole outlook. You know, when we had to make certain cuts, you know, we do it with a future plan that we had. So so far, it's working accordingly.
Reggie, are you still looking to add Pat Lee?
Yes.
A little while ago when you were at the Stanford Pro Day, you were asked about what your priorities were at this moment, and you had said that starting linebacker was your priority. Was that more? Were you speaking more in terms of free agency, or are you thinking that that's still going to be your priority once the draft comes around?
Hey, let me tell you something. If I would take it any way I can get it. If I can get it free agency, the thing about it in free agency, it has to work out contractually. So if it don't work out, I'm not tying, I'm not tying my hands down to either or, but still, regardless, I'm going to use the draft to make sure we draft the best available player. And if it's at a position where we're strong at, so be it. If we feel like this is the best guy, it's a difference between adding solid starters than difference makers. But if I have a chance to get a difference maker, we're going to get them. So, whether it's draft or, it's hard to sign difference makers if you don't have money. But if we have a potential to get some solid starters in the free agency, still, I'm going to do it.
Hey, Rich, is this a good year? Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to ask you, the moves you made thus far in terms of the releases you've made, you've talked about productions. Were those more about production or lack of, or was it about the cap situation?
Well, a little bit of both. When you talk about production versus a salary, certain, in this business, once you get into the NFL, let's face it, guys, the contract and production and all of that goes hand in hand. If something is not matching or it's kind of out of whack, you're going to have to be forced to make a decision. And that's what I was coming up to. It was not just either or. If the production is not there, but the guy's making the minimum, then so be it. You can use this guy as a backup, because of the contract. But when the thing doesn't work out, contractually in production, you got to be forced to evaluate. That's after every season. We're all up against that. Got to be evaluated. So that's where I made my decisions. It wasn't, well, you costing too much money, you got to go. No. If the guy was highly productive and, we can make it work, we try to make it work financially. But if not, we gotta we're gonna have to make certain, decisions, and some tough decisions, which we did.
Reggie, as you try and build this thing with the moves that you have to make because of what you're talking about, do you envision this team being stronger this year, or do you envision it taking 2-3 years to get your plan in place?
Honestly, I envision it being stronger.